Alright guys, welcome to the GSL Code A. And yeah, we're just adjusting a little bit of the sound settings here. And we have the first group of, the first set of games today. And as you could already see and read on GOM's Twitter, I'm going to do a solo cast. Calder, and later on Artos is going to join me for the second set of matches. This is the first set of games that we are having today. We have StarTale Ace against jookTo. It's going to be a pretty interesting Protoss versus Zerg. Ace doing a really good job at all his celebrations, but he has to throw in a little bit of StarCraft II today as well. jookTo is not the best player against Protoss, so we're going to see if StarTale Ace is able to beat him. Second match of the day is going to be Bumblebee against Coldheart. Bumblebee just recently got pretty famous while losing to Scarlet at IPL, so he has to step it up a bit. It's not going to be easy to win against Heart, Zerg versus Terran therefore. And another Zerg versus Protoss with Boom Boom Prime up against Gundol. This is probably going to be the most interesting, well, let's not say interesting, let's say it's going to be a little bit of a weird match because Gundol was one of the players who got a bit lucky at the Code A qualifier. He only had to play one game, he had to play the final against Sela in order to end up in Code A. He was pretty lucky with his grid, and Sela was not too pleased with his own performance in this set. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Gundol is actually up for the challenge. And the last game of the first set is going to be MVP SC against TSL Symbol, which is going to be pretty cool, especially given that Symbol kind of made a little bit of a splash lately against Terran when he defeated Marine King with a 3-0. The Iron Squid tournament. It was pretty interesting to see that Symbol was also a player who was able to qualify for the Iron Squid tournament by winning one of the qualifiers. We get the invite for our first game right now. So we have Ace against jookTo, and the first map is gonna be Entombed Valley. Not really the best map for Ace, as you can, for jookTo, as you can tell. It's not really a map where Zerg is comfortable against Protoss. And apparently we are not losing any time at all. We're jumping right into the game. The countdown has already started in our first match today. Ace against jookTo. So, yep, let's see who's going to take it. Protoss or Zerg. With GSL lately, Zerg have not been doing too well. We have 2 Zergs remaining in Code S. And the game has started, so let's not waste any more time and jump right into Ace against jookTo. Alright, and here we go. I actually don't know if we have overlays on player names today. We'll find out pretty soon, I guess. But to the top left of the map, we have our Protoss player in the red color starting for Team StarTale. And as nothing appeared, I guess we don't have any overlays for the player names for the first set of matches. So this is going to be StarTale Ace, ladies and gentlemen. And to the bottom left, we have his opponent. We have OGS jookTo in the blue color. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, we have the players at the studio, and both of them are just playing in the booth right now. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what exactly jookTo is going to do here. The main reason is, usually what you have on this map is that the Protoss player is able to get a pretty easy natural and a third base as well, and from the defensive position on 3 bases you are usually in a pretty decent mood when you're a Protoss player. You can just make sure that you get all of the tech, that you can get this huge maxed out army and then attack your Zerg opponent. For Zerg it's a little bit tough. What we see on most maps is just the Zerg player trying to take an early third and the Protoss preparing some kind of 2-base attack in order to take him down or at least annihilate the third base. It's not going to be that easy on Entombed Valley. jookTo has a bit of a problem because the natural and the third base are, well, they are connected, but you have a set of rocks that you have to kill before you can really easily access your third base, and it's quite hard to defend before the rocks are down, so you have to make sure that you spread your creep, that you get the rocks down pretty soon, and always get those scouting information in order to see what your opponent is up to. Because Ace does not really have to take the third base. It's, in my opinion, the better option on this map to go for the third and just make sure that you get this huge tech, good economy, and start with your Colossi, get the Templars and everything in there. But you can also just rely on more of a standard strategy and just go for a 2-base attack against the Zerg player. So as a Zerg, you always have to make sure that you know exactly what's coming, and this is not going to be easy for jookTo, especially given the fact that his Protoss, or his matchup against Protoss, has not been looking too good lately. I actually went down the statistics in the last set of games that I found where he won against Protoss on a competitive basis was right, well, I think it was back in September 2011, so yeah, we don't have too many games of him. But lately he is not looking too good against Protoss, so we'll see if he's actually able to defeat Ace here. Not going to be an easy challenge. Ace always been one of those players who, yeah, is kind of more famous for his celebrations than for StarCraft II play, but it's not like the guy can't play the game. So we'll be able to see if he is advancing to the next round. Right now we have both of them just trying to get the second bases up. Obviously the Nexus is already in place. We have Ace with the Forge done and the first gateway being produced, while jookTo is now going for the first set of queens. And this will be pretty important for him, so he should definitely try to get at least the third queen. He can use it later on in order to inject on the third base as well, but for the start he really needs to spread his creep, connect the two bases, make sure that he's kind of sound and safe against air attacks, so in case that Ace follows his style up with the Stargate, he should at least have a set of queens in order to make sure that he's able to defend against it. And as I mentioned already earlier, you need to make sure that the creep is really spread well, especially if you take down those rocks a little bit later than usual, because, we're already with the third here for jookTo. So what you want to do as a Zerg is you want to drone for as long as possible. This is basically what Stefano does. He scouts his opponent, he always checks and makes sure that he knows exactly when the first attack is going to arrive, and then he starts building units. So what jookTo is going to do here is he's trying to rely as much on his economy as possible, and therefore he won't be able to take the rocks down anytime soon. He needs a couple of units to attack the rocks, but without them he will always have this obstacle between the second and the third base. So he needs to spread his creep all around the map, and this is going to be a little bit interesting and difficult if Ace decides to go for some kind of attack here. So we'll see if the risk that jookTo is now going, if that actually pays off, because at this point Ace is already getting the first set of units. He has 2 Zealots on the map right now and is getting the first Stalker as well. The Harvest account is already in favor of jookTo though, thanks to the fact that he invested into his economy quite a bit already. He's up at 35 and is getting another set of 4 drones in just a few seconds, while Ace is now at 33, already using a lot of his chrono boosts on his economy as well. So just making sure that he gets a decent count of probes too. And well, we'll see. Here comes the first attack. 16 Lings immediately being built, immediately trying to get some units. The natural will not die, and all these units in a bit of trouble, but we don't have speed for the Zerglings yet, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. Yep, no speed, so the Stalker should be safe. If you can manage to just avoid us around here. Without the speed, the Zergling's just not in the position to take them down. But already a couple of drone kills for our Protoss player here. Not doing too bad, and now jookTo really needs to make sure that he takes down the Stalker as well. He can surround it here, but will Ace be able to retreat with it? So now it actually looks like he's able to get the Stalker away. A little bit of a misstep here by jookTo. That was definitely not necessary. He should have killed the Stalker. The Stalker is one of the first things that he should have focused on. There's no reason to let the Stalker escape. It was on creep, Lings were faster. He could actually just trap the Stalker between the mineral patches as well. So a little bit of a misstep here. And wow, this Overlord Scout gets revealed very, very early. Those 2 sentries are able to take it down, and the Overlord is not able to see anything at all. Not even the Twilight Council. So that's a bit of a problem here for jookTo. No scouting information whatsoever. And the Lings are actually not taking down the rocks just yet. So he has a couple of Lings in position. He still has 10 left, but he's not attacking the rocks. He's spreading his creep. jookTo, that is, the OGS player, now just trying to reach his lair tech as well. And speed is finally done. But as you can see, Ace so far with a huge amount of sentries. He actually has 7 of them at this point, and already 1 probe in position at the third base. There's 1 Overlord hovering for jookTo right now, so he will know immediately when there's going to be a third base. The wall in has already been started, so Ace is basically doing what we expected him to do. He's going for the third base, he's trying to play it safe here. He poked up a little bit with 2 Zealots and a Stalker, was able to save the Stalker as well, and took down a few Harvesters. Not too many, 2 in total. But he was able to delay a little bit of mining time. He forced Zerglings, and finally the rocks are being attacked by jookTo here. He's already on tier 2, is going for the Infestation Pit. And what this map usually evolves around is, as soon as the third base is done, the Protoss player is in a position where he can also get a 4th. Pretty easily, he just has to go down to the bottom right, and then he has access to a 4th base. And this is where most of the battles usually happen. So, oh nice, if he can, wow, oh my god, this is huge. He's able to catch all of these sentries. This is brilliant for jookTo here. This is actually amazing. He needs to make sure that he takes those down. That would be so crucial if he can kill all of the sentries. That would be so great. Of course, Ace is just trying to defend them, and this is one of the reasons why I don't think that he should have moved away at all, because at this point, he can just back off to the wall and use the force fields. He has not to cast all of them, but the sentries are running low on energy. We have Banelings for jookTo here right now. Ace is in a bit of trouble here. All these sentries, he cannot afford to lose them, but he's losing every single one of them. And oh my god, jookTo is actually pulling this off. Ace moving out, completely caught out of position. And this is going to be so hard to defend. The pylon is already done. The Lings are getting in. There's a gap. Oh my god, this is horrible for Ace. Not even the rocks are done. He will lose everything over here. He will lose everything. All these sentries and the stalkers are trying to get in there, but wow. He's going to lose this Nexus as well if he plays it correctly. This is just the worst case scenario for Ace here. And yeah, that Nexus is going to die. There is no way he's going to save. Maybe with a couple of force fields. No, not even with force fields. This is just horrible. A bit of a misstep by Ace, and suddenly he loses his entire advantage. He loses all his sentry, a ton of gas, and the third base as well, while jookTo is already taking a fourth. This is definitely something that I did not expect to happen. Very well played by jookTo here. Tried to get a little bit aggressive with Banelings and Zerglings, and it was just really unfortunate for Ace that he was completely caught out of position. If all these sentries would have been in the main base or at the third base, he suddenly would have been able to defend so easily against potential Baneling play, but this is going to be really critical for him right now. The Lings are trying to get in there once again. This time it's not going to happen. Way too many sentries, but the rocks are still in position, finally done, and now the sentries can get into position between the two bases and make sure that they at least can throw down the force field. But nice fungals, by the way. Wow, is he able to fungal them? Yes, he is. He takes down 4 of them. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ace is in a bit of trouble here. I certainly did not expect this to happen. Pretty cool. So this is going to be a lot closer than I expected. jookTo apparently stepping it up a little bit in this matchup against Protoss, doing a good job here. Starting with very late upgrades though. He's now just double upgrading, is getting Burrow and already the Baneling speed. But at the same time we have the +3 upgrade for Ace, who's now transitioning into robotic space, so trying to get a bunch of Colossi out here. And already the hive tech for jookTo, who has just now finished his third base and is now trying to saturate it. The harvester count at this point is 80 to 71 in favor of the OGS player. jookTo, our blue Zerg, with a decent lead in the harvester count. And now Ace, even with the illusion hallucination upgrade. That's going to be really interesting match. The upgrade advantage for Ace is huge. jookTo is just trying to get the double upgrades right now. But he is spreading his creep, he's making sure that he has an advantage in his economy, and he definitely has the lead now in the game. So a very nice situation for him. In regards to resources lost, actually jookTo lost a little bit more than Ace, but just forcing the Protoss player to stay on 2 bases for a little bit longer already paid off so much. This was really a great play by jookTo, even though it was a little bit lucky. That's the one thing that we really have to state here as well. But he played it quite well, was able to get into the base, and is getting overlords everywhere right now. Interesting to notice though that we have at the bottom right one observer in addition to the hallucination that are already roaming the map, and now also the Stargate. So Ace is kind of preparing for everything here. He has a pretty decent army, he has a lot of zealots, stalkers, a few sentries to back it up, and also some immortals. At the same time though, what we see for Ace is already the Stargate, and therefore the preparation for a Broodlord's switch for jookTo. And those Lings, if there are additional zealots, the Lings will be in a lot of trouble. Yes, jookTo needs to be a little bit more careful here. This is not gonna be easy. He is in the lead, but still, it's not like Ace is out for the count. We have now Adrenal Glands and +2/+2 being researched for jookTo here. And guys, remember, if the Zealots have 1 attack upgrade more than the Zerglings have armor upgrades, then suddenly they are able to 2-hit them. So jookTo needs to be really careful if he wants to stay with his Ling-heavy army composition, because at this point we have Ace with just a ton of upgrades. +3 is already done, he's going attack that is. We have him with a +1 armor upgrade as well. And now the second robotics facility, so that he can go for the double Colossi. And already maxed out his jookTo. Working up a nice bank here, has a lot of gas at this point with 1,000 already. He should actually get a 4th base. He can't do anything with his minerals right now. He already built a fair amount of of spine crawlers. We have him with Ultralisks now as well. The first one's popping just now, but he should definitely get a 5th base at this point. He can't do anything else with this mineral, so getting another set of bases, and there it is, getting the 5th. So could actually already get a 6th base just in order to make sure that he can support his mineral income with gas as well. We have a few Corruptors in order to count out the Colossi, but that's the 4th base. The 4th base for Ace. So basically everything that we stated in the early stage of the game is still true. The 4th base usually evolves around, but jookTo was able with a snipe on the 3rd to just make sure that everything for Ace is a little bit delayed, and just look at the mineral and gas counter for the Zerg player right now. And here we go, the force field obviously completely redundant thanks to the Ultralisks, and this is just a nice battle for jookTo here. Not too many Ultralisks, they are able to attack on a nice front. And at the same time now, we have still enough lava for jookTo to use his gas and minerals. At this point, I'm actually a bit surprised that he's going for a complete Link play. I would have expected him to switch it up a little bit. The Greater Spire attack is very late. And now he's just trying to rely on his Zerglings. And I mentioned it before, the problems with the Lynx is that all these Zealots that he still has in his army composition are just two-shotting them. You have the Colossi in the, as well, just supporting the entire army, and not enough Corruptors. So I would have actually expected a switch to a Corruptor Broodlord Infestor here for jookTo, something that did not happen. His Greater Spire attack is very, very late. And even though he had the lava, he's once again just maxing out his army supply on Lynx, Banelings, and a few Infestors. Getting +3/+3 is definitely important for jookTo at this point, but Ace already with a Warp Prism speed going for the Mothership as well, taking a 5th base here, and slowly but steadily just getting a grip on the game once again. And here come the army, nice attack from different flanks. Oh, those Banelings killing off the sentries, doing a good job here. The first Colossus is down, the second one going to die as well, and look at those Lynx going to town. Ace is losing a lot of ground here, and we still have a ton of resources for jookTo, the OGS player, doing a very good job in this game and just capitalizing on all the advantages that he gained early on. Now even Storm is coming up for Ace, and jookTo really needs to make sure that he is switching up his unit composition. He's still relying a little bit on Zerglings, but a lot more Corruptors and Broodlords are joining the battle now, while we already have the +1 armor upgrade for the Flyers research. Still 72 Zerglings, 180 supply for jookTo here. He needs a little bit more supply to morph in additional Broodlords, but as you can see, the Harvester count is getting pretty high for jookTo once again. 86 against 78. He can get and there they are, can get a couple of Spine Crawlers once again in order to secure his bases, and also make sure that this Warp Prism Harris is not doing too much damage. There's a Warp Prism at the bottom left, still trying to get into position, but he's able to repel it every single time, at least so far. And yes, here we go with another set of Spine Crawlers, but all these cannons at the 4th base for Ace are already doing a really good job here. And well, Ace now just trying to capitalize on the fact that his Warp Prism with the speed is able to do a bit of damage here, but in the end it dies, and now we have the 2nd Spire being built for jookTo. But let me just double check if our observer missed the first one going down. No, would have surprised me a little bit. Anyway, so at this point, having a quick look at the army composition, we have 4 Broodlords, we have Infestors, we have a bunch of Corruptors that are built right now, but he doesn't have too much anti-air, and the Mothership is definitely going to be a problem. He needs more Corruptors here, but those Broodlords are doing a lot of damage. The Mothership just not with the energy yet for a Vortex, and he doesn't have the Archons either, so no chance for an Archon Toilet to happen anytime soon. More Corruptors are joining the army right now, and once again jookTo is maxed out on 200 supply against 169, and Ace is hard pressed here. He's in a lot of trouble, a ton of bases for the Zerg player, and our Protoss is in trouble as +2 attack and armor for the air units are being researched. Here they are, the first 2 Archons, but are they going to be enough? It's going to be pretty difficult. Nice Storms at the same time. They don't do too much damage, especially not to the Broodlords. They killed a lot of Broodlings, but that's basically 3 upgrades for the melee units already. And this Vortex did not do enough. Nice split here by jookTo, who's 50 supply ahead at this point. And Ace is dropping in supply like crazy, losing his base down to 130. And definitely on the ropes right now. Ace is down for the count, and if he is not managing some kind of miracle comeback, then he might just lose this first game here against jookTo. OG has jookTo in a commanding lead now, trying to take down the 4th base of his opponent, and this would definitely be curtains in a match where Ace never really got back after losing all these sentries and the 3rd base in the early mid-game. Very, very nice play here by jookTo. Maybe stayed a little bit too long on his circling and infestor combination and did not transition fast enough into Brood Lords, but in the end it's all does not matter all that much. He is doing a really, really good job here at cleaning up the army of Ace. Ace just warping in round after round, trying to get back into the game, but at the same time we already have the Brood Lords, or at least a few of them at the 3rd base, taking down the tech. Even a few infested Terrans are now being just as a precaution, so the Void Ray will not be able to take down the Brood Lords. Very well played by jookTo here, still at 180 supply, and just look at this gas. He's on 1000 gas still, he has a very decent income, has a lot of harvesters, 2000 minerals a minute, and yeah, that's GG. Ace leaves the game, and map number 1 goes to jookTo. Yeah, very impressive play, well done. I have to say that I'm a little bit surprised, so that was a really nice performance, and he played this very well. Ace, with a little bit of a gamble in the mid-game, was caught out of position with all his sentries, was not able to rescue them, and then suddenly we had just jookTo in such a great position that he could drone up, and well, he capitalized on his advantage that he had, and Ace was never in a position to get back into the game. He had a couple of moments where it looked like he was at least able to contest the army of his opponent, but in the end it was jookTo taking the first map, and we're now waiting for the second one to be hosted. But yeah, really well done. And the first Zerg play today on Entombed Valley at that, doing a really good job, but one Swallow does not a summer make, so we'll see if jookTo is able to get the first game. If he's the second one as well. If he's at least able to make sure that he wins the best of 3. It's not going to be easy, as mentioned earlier. I'm pretty sure that Ace is not going to be too happy with this performance just now. And yeah, that should be a pretty good game. Actually, I was really surprised with the first one. I really enjoyed this. And Ohana is going to be the second map. And once again, they are really eager to start the games. That's the one thing that I really like about the solo casting. And, well, not the second stream, but the first set of games. We are just jumping from game into game. So guys, get ready. Ohana, Ace against jookTo, game number 2.